Greetings everyone, my name is Zetterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered 4 viewer-submitted levels, so in this part, I'll be covering at least 5 more viewer-submitted levels, starting out with this one. Pliable V2 by Dravitch, 9 plays and a score of 0. As always, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a part like this one, please leave the level name and level ID in the comment section below, or direct message me on Twitter. Also, as always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for every level that I cover in these parts. There's a lot of white in this level, outside of those sparks. It seems that our main special weaponry here is going to be the crash bomb. Oh goody, spikes. A little bit blending in with the background there. Let's see how difficult it becomes. We gotta be a bit careful with our timing though, so we don't end up skewing ourselves into the spikes up there. And be careful not to hold down the A button there. Okay, so this stage focuses on target position or firing position, because you can only fire up to 1 crash bomb at a time. Although we can quick weapon switch out of it though, so that makes it a bit easier. And it seems that the crash bomb doesn't activate even if we attach it on the Crystal Joe. That's gonna be a slight problem, so we need to fire just below him. Okay, good. I won't get killed there. I need to attach it just above him, and this is going to be a slight challenge to hit. Now I know why it's called Pliable. Ah, this is how we actually hurt him. That's very clever. We need to just aim it just above him, and then it'll be able to damage him. At least that's what I think. Or just fire it fast enough. Also good checkpoint placement and nice challenge progression. Oh, okay then. So apparently you can hit the ceiling from up here. Good to know. I was expecting it would be 1 block lower, but apparently not. I'm just testing my jump height over here, just for safety. Well, I know what to do now. Just gotta be really careful with my jumping, though. Oh, this is where the precision starts, isn't it? I could damage boost, but I really don't want to risk it. Way too close over there. Phew, I'm being silent over there because I'm not sure if I'll be able to make these jumps. Also, I would really like a checkpoint nearby, that would be really helpful. Especially with these jumps at hand. Come on, I know you can hit it. There we go. And also lining up my positioning can be a problem. Would have liked 1 checkpoint over there. My apologies, Dravitch, but I'll have to call it quits now for this level. This level unfortunately falls under the level type I dislike the most in Mega Man Maker, that being the more difficult precision-based spike challenges. I really hate doing those in Mega Man Maker due to the spike hitboxes being bigger than usual compared to most other classic titles on the NES. Having to do all these precision jumps on the springs makes matters much worse. I kept dying over and over here, and I really wish there was a checkpoint right over here, so I decided to just use the level editor here, but it got worse unfortunately with that type of jump. The force beam segment was fine, but the segment when we went outside over here, that's when I had to call it quits after dying 24 times. My apologies, but as I repeatedly stated throughout this LP, I strongly dislike these types of levels, so I cannot give this stage a thumbs up. And the stage gets harder from here on out. I would have liked it more if there was more checkpoints placed around the place, maybe 2 or 3 more, but as it stands right now, I can't really give this stage a thumbs up. I didn't enjoy this experience at all. At least the boss arena is a bit interesting because you go first around the bottom, then back up to the top, and then you fight Crashman down over here and destroy him with his own weakness, I believe. But that one part of the stage, and then this portion, it really killed the stage for me. Also, one other suggestion outside of the more checkpoints, it's also the spikes. Having to use a mostly black spike on the black background is a bad choice in my own regard. Use something that contrasts with the background so players can more easily see where the edges are, which is really important for these precision-based levels. Like, pick a white spike instead so it contrasts with the background. Outside over here it makes sense because these spikes contrast with the black background. Even with the snowy mountains, you can still see them quite well. But with a mostly black spike on a black background, yeah, it's really hard to see and I really don't like that choice. Use some of the spikes like these, the white ones, those are much better for this. Once again, I apologize, Dravitch. Second on the lineup is Pharoah Waterfall by Daibuman, 33 plays and a score of 9. Let's hope that this level isn't a precision-based challenge level like the previous one was. Oh neat, we actually have Centaur Man's team. It's been quite a while since we last heard it throughout this LP. First we start out in a base. And we have the Mega Man 6 charge shot. Let's see, Hyper Bomb, Thunder Beam, Skull Barrier, Rush Coil, and Rush Jet. Good. That's a nice selection. And by taking the right, more difficult route, we get a knee tank. Nice. I was almost fast enough. So far, so good. I thought this was going to be a forced Rush Jet segment, but no, it's just a Yoka Block segment. A lot more on the fair side, no sudden gotcha jumps, where we need to jump onto a block that's directly above us, but just before it so we have enough time to get above it. Still, I'll activate the Skull Barrier just to be safe. Although I don't think it was really necessary, I could have just used the Skull Barrier to skip the entire segment and speedrun it. Oh well, I like that extra bit of insurance. Plus it does promote for more skilled play, or for players who want to take a speedrunner approach. That was a lot of button mashing there. I guess that acted like the mini-boss of this stage. It makes sense because we had that boss door. So on to the second half where we need to climb the waterfall upwards. Also, this is a nice way of introducing the Sniper Joes. First in a stable ground environment, and now with the falling gyro platforms. Same over here, but it's a lot more dangerous because we have to jump over each of the pellets. I knew there was going to be a secret here, it just looks so suspicious. Hyper Bomb is our best bet here for... well, we can't actually, we just need to jump our way down here. And if we were skilled enough, we could just skip the entire Sniper Joe encounter by just jumping over him. Same over here. I will be utilizing my special weaponry more here because that's one of the highlights of Mega Man gameplay. If Mega Man didn't have access to the diverse and quite fun repertoire of weaponry he gets throughout his games, Mega Man would be a quite bland series actually. At least that's in my personal regard. The special weaponry is one of the best parts of Mega Man. That and the utilities. Rush jet time. Hopefully I don't get ambushed by a Yoku block, that would be kind of embarrassing. This is entirely doable Buster only, so I guess this is a traditional level, around the same difficulty as the Mega Man Classic Stage 2. It's not too shabby actually. You can get by using Buster only pretty easily. And if you want, you can use special weaponry in order to make the stage easier, just like a classic level. And the challenge progression is also pretty nice, as you saw over there. Let's see how the combination of gimmicks and enemies will be done at the end. Although we haven't really seen any gimmicks other than the gyro platforms as well as the junk blocks. Well, I guess it's time to fight the boss. Well, this is actually a neat terrain with the holes down there. It also works against him if you time it correctly. Or aim right. Well, I might as well use the M-Tank. So that was Pharoah's Waterfall. A pretty neat traditional level. Nothing more to say here other than it was a nice job. Although it's a little bit forgettable, it was a nice breeze and a fun experience. So I will give it a thumbs up, and I would like to play some of your future levels. You do understand how to make classic design, although I wish the gimmicks at the end and enemies were recombined into a final remix in a more difficult fashion. Okay, third on the lineup is Super Mario World Bowser's Castle by Skullman DWN-032, 81 plays and a score of 16. Skullman has been a new and promising level creator who's been setting their levels throughout this LP recently, and I quite enjoy playing through all the levels. And judging by the loading time, this is going to be a longer stage. Once again, I wish on the description there is a screen count so we know how long each level is. This will be even more important for the Metroidvania levels that are coming out. And just like Bowser's Castle, we have a choice initially of 3 teleporters. 1, 2, and 3. And 4. I guess I'll need to play through the stage a bunch of times because I want to check out where each teleporter leads up to. After all, taking each teleporter leads to a different set of challenges, and then eventually will lead to another set of teleporters. Let's go through one first. Whoa, the stuttering there almost killed me. I guess this was the Podobo room. So now we have 5, 6... Only Mega Buster only, so it's a traditional level. 5, 6, 7, 8. What I'll do is probably complete 1, 5, then 9, and then the final boss. Then I'll replay through the stage at least 3 more times. And this is the Crusher room, although it's a lot easier here because I can just destroy all the Crushers. And I can just run past all of them very easily. Thanks for the free tank. In the original game, it was a mushroom. And we'll be finding the Mecha Coopers here, I think. and the red force beams act like lava. Ah, the Crabbots are acting like the replacements for the Mega Koopas, I guess. So far, this stage is on the easier side. And this is where we would fight Bowser in his clown car. Instead, we fight Napalm Man on all these footholders, who then fire directly sideways. So that was the end of Pathway 1 of this castle. I guess all these challenge rooms are going to try to be as authentic to the original Bowser Castle challenge rooms, because I remember the challenge room 5 being very similar in structure, though it had crushers. Although it's been quite a while since I last played Super Mario World, and I never went through all of the challenge rooms in Bowser's Castle. It was much more difficult when playing as Mario, because he only had at a max 3 hits before dying. Well, not 3 hits, you also have the spare box, but it still was quite challenging. And this is the room with the fence that you could climb on, which was made a lot easier over here. Now on to 6. This is going to be a little bit more challenging. Especially with the spike jumps here. Yeah, this is definitely a bit harder than the previous segments. Especially because I have to be a bit wary because of the spikes. And that ends this part of the stage. There is no checkpoint until we get to the midpoint, which I believe was accurate to the original Super Mario World. Or maybe there was a checkpoint between these two entrance rooms. On to 3. I think this was the sliding castle room or something. An extra life was also present on the left side. Although it's a bit easier here because there's no sliding at all. Once again, it's been quite a while since I last played Super Mario World, and I never went through all of the challenge rooms. So I can't vouch for the legitimacy or how accurate or representative this is to the original level. I paused over there for a moment because I was a bit worried I was going to fall into a pit. I also eventually hope that the developers of Mega Man Maker officially add in lava, so that we don't need to use red force beams as the substitute. Still, the red force beams work as they're instant death. Also, in the original Super Mario World, I think each of the doors or teleporters, they were closer to each other compared to here. I guess this is a footholder segment. I was a bit worried I was going to fall into a pit by accident. Case in point. Once again. Well, I despawned that one. Honestly, the third and fourth ones were more difficult than the first and second ones. That was also probably true in Super Mario World. And this is going to be an enemy gauntlet, I think, filled with all these Rabots. I should have killed these before jumping over here. There are just too many of them to take on normally. Maybe this was the charging chuck room, I'm not sure. Well, I guess that's the end of the stage. Like I said, I enjoyed playing through each of the challenge rooms, although I think I'd like it more if I more recently played or better remembered the Bowser's Castle level in Super Mario World. Still, it was an enjoyable fortress/traditional level in its own right. Fourth on the lineup is DJHN-003 Fly Woman by Jethawk74. 5 plays and a score of 1. I played Druid Woman stage in the previous part, and judging by that stage's length and the loading time of this one, this is going to be a bit shorter. That's neat. Too bad we don't have custom Roadmasters in Mega Man Maker. I wish for this developer, Jethawk74, to participate in Magmal 3. I'd like to see them create their own custom-based Roadmaster, that'd be fun, as well as their own custom stage. Once again, we have a whole bunch of special weaponry to use, very varied. We start out with all these enemies, and I'll just despawn all of them. Thank you for gravity hold. And we also have the air shooter, which I will spam everywhere, basically. Nice idea of having 2 signs, one explicitly telling you to fly, the other one telling you to use Rush Jet. Well, I guess it makes sense, this is called Fly Woman after all. Thankfully, this is the Mega Man Maker Rush Jet, aka the really broken one, the one that's super powerful. Ah, this is the refill station. Thanks for the message there. Of course, these segments are going to be made a lot easier if I just use the Rush Jet. So instead, I won't, and I'll try at least giving this stage some decency and do it partially the legitimate way. Never mind, we actually have to use Rush Jet over here. And I can just skip past most of these enemies by standing up here. After all, there's no ceilings here. At least that's what I hope, there's no invisible ceilings. It'd be really embarrassing if I died to an invisible ceiling. Now we have a problem though, we have all these killer bullets. And the segment's done. I also like how the brick drop just pierces right through the Sniper Joe shield, or rather just fires above him, so his shield is completely ineffective. It's even better when I can fire 2 of them at once. The brick drop is one of my favorite weapons that were added in the version 1.2.x update. Bravo for the devs to have it. I was a bit worried why they were adding a Mega Man 11 weapon this early, but hey, it works, so I like it. I would love to see what they do with the Mega Man 7 and onwards weaponry. Maybe even add some of the weaponry from Mega Man V, or Mega Man and Base, Mega Man Base 2, etc. That would be really neat. Maybe even Street Fighter cross Mega Man, if you want to stretch it a little bit. And the song fits this cheery stage. Background is a nice sky, soft blue, and most of the stage forces you or promotes you to go quickly. So both the song and aesthetic match each other, another plus. And I'm liking this stage more than Daibuman. I like the more open-air environment. That was close. But once again, I could always just use my rush it if I wanted to skip these segments. The option's always there. In some ways, this feels like a cross between a traditional level and a fortress level. I say a fortress level because there are several segments in this level where you're forced to utilize the rush jet. And you usually don't have access to the rush jet until you complete a bunch of levels in the game. What I mean is you don't usually have it at start like the rush coil usually do. I know the best weapons to use here is the brick drop, but I'd rather just spam the air shooter. It's just so fun to shotgun it. We have another flying segment coming up. Okay, now the stage is getting a bit challenging because now we have all these spikes. And we gotta be a bit careful not to despawn rush. Easier said than done though. At least these segments aren't too precise, but I do like how the level creator is increasing the difficulty of these segments instead of making them just a cakewalk like mostly before. Although this segment would be a lot harder if we had the Mega Man 3, or rather any other type of rush jet in a previous Mega Man title. The ones where you could get knocked off of rush jet if you aren't careful. And I guess that's the end of the stage. This stage felt a bit shorter, or quite shorter than Daibuman. This felt like 2 times the size of a traditional Mega Man level, whereas that one felt like 3 times the size. And honestly, I liked this stage a lot more. It felt more concise, it didn't overload on ideas, and I felt like it executed on them a bit better. Sure, I would have liked the stage to become a bit more difficult, maybe push the difficulty at the end to the middle, but I still enjoyed it. It's an easier traditional / fortress level. So I will give it a thumbs up. Now it's time to fight the boss, Napalm Man. Let's see what your weakness is. Of course it is not that. Not that either. He has no weakness then. Guess it's time to use the tank. He seems to not really like the air shooter. Maybe that's his weakness. That's probably his weakness. It deals 2 points of damage per hit, and I guess it works out as it's better than every other weapon, except maybe the brick drop. I would say that Fly Woman is tied with Pharoah's Waterfall as being my favorite level of this part. Scratch that, I'd say that Fly Woman is my favorite level of this part. 5th level on the lineup is Plants Waste Management by Omegada, 8 plays and a score 0. I'm getting around to playing all of the levels of the miniseries they already created, although they submitted this level quite a few months ago. My apologies for not playing this level earlier, Omegada. I really want to get to... Whoops, that was my fault for not paying attention. I really want to get around to playing your Boss Rush series of levels, Omegada. Oh, there's a flash stopper there. I really should activate the flash stopper here because I really want that E-tank. It may be useful. A little bit of taking inspiration from Quickman there. I knew I was going to make it here, especially with the conveyor belts. I'm really thankful that Omegada gave me the option to utilize stuff like the flash stopper in order to make these segments a bit easier. After all, that's what special weaponry are used for, to unlock new parts of stages and to make other parts of stages a bit easier. I would like if there's a bit more delay on the red force beam so it's a little bit more forgiving. This is starting to feel like one of the more difficult levels by Omegada. Then again, if we're playing the levels in order, this should be the 6th or 7th level that we played so far, so it makes sense that it should be a bit harder if we're playing them in order. Although I wish the force beams were first introduced with a green one instead of a red one initially. And I almost died over there too. For this level, you really need to be on your feet so you don't end up getting killed. What I would really like to have is an M-Tank, just like there. Thanks for the full life restore, it was well worth it. This level is really promoting me to damage boost, especially because of all the gotcha red force beams. It's kind of a jerk move if you die here if you're not fast enough, especially because you can't re-unlock the door, or exit and re-enter this room from the left. You may want to put the checkpoint up there, or remove the red force beams. Otherwise this makes the stage a little bit more on the trollish side. Well, it's ending now, so I guess it was a shorter traditional level. What's your weakness? It seems to be Metal Blade. There is no other weaponry I can think of that is going to be his weakness. Let me try Fair Shot. Nah, Metal Blade's better. So that was the end of Plants Waste Management. A pretty hectic traditional level. In some ways, I would say this is a timing-based challenge level. Instead of the conventional spike-based or precision-based challenge level I usually play through, this feels more like a timing-based challenge level. I liked it, but you may want to tone down the red force beams, or at least loosen up and make it introduced a bit more gradually. Utilize green and yellow force beams a bit more, and then near the end, start utilizing the red force beams more. At least the stage length was a bit fine, although if you were to keep the red force beams, I suggest adding one more checkpoint in between the last one and the second to last one. Alright, 6th and final level of this part is Shine Experiment V2 by TheBoltReaper, 11 plays and a score of 1. A shorter level, but I believe it's going to be a special weapons oriented stage. And just like before, this is going to be version 2 of it. I played version 1 before, I think. And this one forces us to utilize the shine in creative ways, both to extend our jump height, as well as deflect enemy projectiles back at them. Another nice usage of the shine I just realized right now is notice how we have ice physics here and we slide around. Immediately when we activate the shine, it immediately stops the ice physics from taking effect. That's another nice plus of this weaponry. The only problem of using the shine, which I forgot here, is that it drops you off of ladders. If I get hit by one of the pellets, I'm just gonna fall in the pit. This is one of those places where I wish I had the shock absorber upgrade from Magmal 2. So far so good, even though I died 3 times already. I can melee the enemies using the shine, but I really don't want to do it when I'm in midair. Otherwise I'll basically die. Ice physics. and killer bullets. The other problem is the fact that these killer bullets will still deflect my shots, or rather it'll pierce right through the shield because of the explosion. There we go. Can't really see where my next jump is though. I couldn't really see where that was, so I ended up falling into the pit there. At the very least, the checkpoint placement is right over here, so not too much to complain about. If I could only see this platform from about there, I'll be fine. Otherwise, I'll keep falling to the pit because I can't see it. Boy, that segment alone costed me about 4 or 5 deaths. And that was mostly due to sliding off the platforms themselves. Not really just getting hit by enemies. Well, I did get hit by enemies here and there, but it was mostly due to sliding off the platforms, and I just got telefragged by a Yoko block. At least I can damage boost if that happens. I would have liked if there was a better warning if that was going to happen, that being telefragged by Yoko block. That wasn't fun. At least ice physics have been turned off. Oh boy. Well, at least we have regular intervals of when everything's gonna appear. And we can use the shine as a flutter jumping utility. So I'm okay with that. Thank you for despawning yourself, Big Eye. This stage kind of feels like it has a reverse difficulty curve. We started out about normal, then it became quite more difficult around the center, then it became easier around the end. Especially here, this felt a bit easier than the second half, in some ways easier than the first part of the stage. Or, the latter third is easier than the second third. Now we just need to block all the shots back at Iceman. Oh, poor Iceman. He's really weak against his own weapon. The shine itself doesn't deal that much damage to him. It's deflecting his ice slasher back at him, which deals at least 3 or 4 points of damage. Well, that was the Shine Experiment V2. Even though I died at least 8 or 9 times throughout this stage, I still enjoyed it. More so than V1, which was quite easier. Although you may want to work on the difficulty curve because the latter third of the stage is easier than the second third of the stage. The first third was fine. It's just that some of the jumps, especially on the ice platforms, made it more challenging than it usually would. Especially because of how strong the ice physics can be. Still, at least a 5.5 in my book, maybe a 5 if I was harsher. So overall, out of the 6 levels that I played in this part, my favorite level would be Fly Woman by JetHawk74. So in the next part, I'll be playing through several more viewer submitted levels. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!